As long as this kind of economic scheme is legal in America, then it is a threat to our way of life.
Yes.
That America can do better than this. There's a convergence of all of these enterprises in low-income and minority neighborhoods. 54% of African Americans are outside of mainstream, basic, normal, legal financial services. That means that 54% are using money orders and not checks. They're using check cashing facilities and not credit unions. They're using payday loans instead of savings. They're borrowing what they can't afford. 54%. That's the majority. But I've been working hard on helping churches like New Hope and others focus on a biblical, practical, urgent strategy to help people get out of debt. We call it D-free. What I've discovered is that this is hard work. It's hard to tell somebody making $7.72 an hour that they should not use their credit card when their income runs out by the 22nd and the month still has 8 more days and their children get hungry for the whole month. It's hard to tell a 54-year-old man who worked on the same job for 25 years, don't borrow money when he gets laid off and nobody wants to hire him because he's 54 years old. And it's hard because all of these economic conditions converge and make fertile ground for predators who take advantage of low-wage workers, who take advantage of unemployed people, who take advantage of all of these emotional marketers, and they set up pawn shops and car title loan shops, and they set up rent-to-own shops, and they set up payday loan shops in the very neighborhoods where the people run out of cash, and they end up filling the gaps for fees and interest rates higher than any bank could charge. It is hard.
First of all, most of my customers had the best intentions. They all came in there needing their loan, and when the 2 weeks came up, they came back and they paid it back. And then they were out this approximately $100 fee. Well, now their budget's short an extra $100. Well, plus they had to pay back the loan, and then they had to reborrow because they had to. And then it got to a point, though, after about 5 or 6 times, they just got to, they couldn't anymore. I hated doing this to people. I knew that each time they reborrowed, that they were just digging themselves in deeper. I got to the point where a new customer would walk in my store and I would hope that there was a reason I could turn them down for a loan.
How y'all doing? I'm a U.S. Army retired veteran, disabled. Took a while to get the money from the government. We finally got our bills on track. We find my son for my first marriage. It's going to cost $2,400 to get him home, get the process started. My kid, I'm going to do anything. I borrowed 4 $600 loans on my profit, 2 through my wife, 2 through me.
Wow.
It took me a year to get back. Pay that $2,400 back on top of that $300 some a month for a year. I paid almost $5,400 back in 1 year for $2,400. These payday loans, they just breed on it. They didn't tell me no percentage. I thought the same thing as like he said. Oh, it's only $100 some bucks. I can pay that back. But then I had to borrow back and borrow back and borrow back. And by the time I'm said and done, I could own a brand new car right now and still have my kid home.
This community is one of the 25 we targeted to stand in front of a payday store and say, you got to stop stealing from people and call it legitimate business. And Martin Luther King said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Yes.
Right.
As long
That's
as predators are able to charge 390% interest, as long as payday lenders can prey upon poor people, as long as this kind of economic scheme is legal in America, then it is a threat to our way of life.
Yes.
That America can do better than this. When I travel the country and tell people who are pastors, who are politicians, who are policymakers, that in the last 22 years, more payday loan stores have emerged in this country than McDonald's and Starbucks combined. You can see the words bouncing off their head. They can't believe it. Until we understand that the overlay is economic justice, then we will find ourselves going further and further apart. There'll be no middle class at all. There'll be a few very rich, and the rest of us will live from paycheck to paycheck if we have a paycheck at all.